drink. Got my helper with me today, guys. So welcome back to Cabin View Ventures. Now, if you've been following the channel for a while, you'll know that I'm always on the hunt for good firewood deals. And that's what I've got here. I have a whole truckload full of really nice red oak. Now, this stuff is all split a lot bigger than how I sell mine. So what I'm gonna do is end up splitting all this down. Some of it is a little bit longer, so I'm actually gonna cut some of it to the length I want and then split it down to the size, because I try to sell only premium firewood bundles. So I want all my firewood to be uniform and really good quality stuff. Now, this was actually a deal I found not too far. It was only like a half-hour drive. So I might even go back and get some more. But when you can get a good deal on a whole truckload of red oak, I couldn't pass that up. If you guys saw my last video, I was doing some yard work, and particularly I was aerating and overseeding for the fall, because this is the perfect time to do that with the weather, at least, you know, here in central Pennsylvania. Now, I had just bought a AgriFab 48-inch aerator, and tons of good reviews on that thing. So I, wasn't real worried about buying it and having any issues with it. But that thing didn't last 5 minutes before it started to break. So I'm gonna finish unloading this, and I'll show you guys exactly what happened to it, because I am extremely disappointed. Yeah, you got some snacks. Yeah. Very disappointed. Those things are not cheap, and no excuse for what happened. So shame on AgriFab for building these things this way. But what ended up happening were a couple of the welds broke. So you need some help? There you go. Some of the welds on the spindles broke. So I'll show you exactly where they broke, but absolutely zero excuse for that happening on that piece of equipment. All right, that was a pretty nice truckload, little over a third of a quart of firewood there, and I actually still have a little more in the back of the truck. So really happy with that. Like I said, the only thing I need to do with this is split it down to size. It's much bigger than how I sell my firewood, and I won't be surprised if it needs a couple more months to dry out, but it's some pretty nice looking red oak. So, all right, let me show you what's going on with this aerator so you guys don't make the mistake of buying one. Andrew, come on, brother. Come on. Come on, up here. Going out front. Come on, we're gonna go out front. Come on. My little tag-along buddy today. We won't get a whole lot done, but that's okay. All right, so AgriFab 48-inch aerator, plug style aerator. You can pick these up at any big box store. Goes together pretty easy. One issue I noticed right off of the bat was this arm is not the right piece. So you can see how I have that hitch mounted. That is supposed to be on a flat piece right here. Well, it doesn't line up with the holes they drilled. This should have been angled back here somewhere instead of all the way up here. But I was able to improvise and still make that work. Not a big deal. Now what broke is down here. So these are in 4 different pieces. So these 2 spindles right here, these are all welded onto this one piece of bar. And then you've got a spacer, and then you've got another section. And you see these 2 are still on good. Spacer, spacer, there's the 3rd section right here. Both of these are still holding up pretty well. And then here's the last section, and this one broke, and that one is getting a little bit loose. So I won't be long until that one breaks. All I did was aerate 1 acre of yard space. And for these welds to break, I mean, that's just bad design, bad welding. You can see there is, I think there's 4 spot welds that hold each one of these on. Now, maybe only, actually, maybe only 2. It looks like they're welded on the top and on the bottom. But for those things to break off, let me hold this up a little higher here. I mean, look at that thing. So it's like completely useless. Yeah, see, here's a spot weld. Nothing. Spot weld. Nothing. So yeah, it's just 2 spot welds that hold each one of those on. And, well, 2 of them broke. So, to not even get through an acre before one of those breaks is, that's pretty bad construction. I would not recommend one of these to anybody. So, buyer beware. AgriFab. And the only weight I had on top were these four cinder blocks here, which is what they recommend. We do not have that thing overweighted. So unless you have a really soft yard with a good, you know, 4 to 6 inches of soft topsoil, maybe it would work fine. But if you don't, it's gonna break. Alright, so you guys are probably wondering what I'm doing, and this is a little project I've wanted to work on for a while now. So this is going to be, I guess you could call it like a measuring rack for some of the firewood I'm buying. So like I said earlier, you know, I'm always on the hunt for good firewood deals, and I had just found one on Marketplace with this load of red oak that I bought, but I have never found one that is cut the way I like it. Usually the length vary between 16 and 20 inches, and they're never split down small enough to the size I like to bundle and sell. So I won't use this a whole lot. You know, most of the wood that I'm buying, most of what I'm buying is logs from tree service companies. You know, I'm cutting that down to the length I want right out of the gate. But when I do find a good deal like this, I want to be able to process it quickly to get it down to the size I like. Because ultimately, you know, I want to sell premium firewood and premium firewood only, especially in my bundles, and I want it all to be uniform, the same length and split down to the same size. So, and really I'm doing this now to help supplement my bundle firewood. My firewood business is a year old. I'm still in that trying to figure it out phase to see how much I'm going to need for each season. So if I feel like I'm running a little short, it's nice to be able to just run out or jump on the Marketplace, find somebody local that has some wood that's already processed, and then I just have to put a little finishing touch on it to get it ready for sale. So let's finish building this rack up. What this is going to be, very simple structure. There's going to be 2 rows of firewood. There's going to be a divider in the middle, each side. So this side from this end to the middle is exactly 16 inches. So everything that's overhanging, I'll be able to just cut it right off with my steel. I measured this width. I measured this width for my steel 462 with the 25-inch bar on it. So I'll be able to take one clean swipe and move on to the next side and then reload it. So what do you think? Should we build it? Shouldn't take long. All right. Hi, Bookie. Hanging out with Dad today. Watch this. Ready? Okay. There's one. Let's do the back one here. Here, scoot down. Let's do this one.
Alright.
Yeah. Square it up. And put a screw in it. Find some rock. Really just figuring this out as I go, but I think this is going to work out pretty well. I think. This was all just scrap lumber I had left over from other projects, which is always nice. Do a little cleanup and you don't spend any money building something. Now we're going to put a floor in it. The next thing we're going to do, probably do this middle one first. So we're going to have 3 of these on each side, one in the front, one on each end, one in the middle, and then they'll be tied together on the top. So they'll be nice and supported, so they'll be able to hold the weight of the logs pressing against them. Aye. This should work a little better. Got some flat ground here. How's that look, bud? Does that look good?
Yeah.
Huh? Does that look good enough?
Hi.
There's one. Right. This thing's got some nice weight to it, so it's definitely going to be good sturdy. Kick both of them right over there.
Go, 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 go.
Sometimes they don't go in the way you want.
Hi, Daddy.
Alright. Alright, let's come out and check this out. Alright, so that should give you a pretty good idea of what we were after. I'm going to finish this up, and then I'm almost out of time today, so probably tomorrow we'll throw some logs in there and give this thing a try. But let me show you what that's going to look like.
Like.
Okay, come on out, Bubba.
Hi. Hello, Dad. Hi. Hello, Daddy.
Hello.
Hello, Firewood.
Alright, so you can see this one's not too long. This one's only 1.5 inches overhang, so this one's 17.5 inches. But they'll just butt right up against here, and then boom, there it is. So we'll be able to take, like I said, one swipe with the saw straight down this row. So we're going to get quite a bit of firewood in there. Just to give you some quick dimensions on this before I finish it up. So this is, let's see, I think I did 24 inches. Yeah, so 24 inches wide. And then I made it 33 inches long. So 2 16-inch sections for firewood, and then I have that 1.5 inch divider in the center there. So each side's gonna hold quite a bit. And then we just have the supports on each end, one in the middle, so the firewood will have plenty of side support on it, so it's not going to go anywhere on you as you're cutting it. And we just got to get 2 more top pieces on. So, and then most of that face cord is going to get cut down to 16 inches. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. All right, guys, it is the next day, so we're going to load this thing up and try it out. I'm really excited because, like I said, this is something I have been thinking about building for a long time, just to help cut down my firewood to the size I like. And I'll be able to use this for a couple different things. You know, not only just getting my firewood down to 16 inches, but if I want to cut some kindling into smaller pieces, like maybe 8 or 10 inch pieces, which I sell quite a bit of, I'll be able to just, you know, put an insert in here and easily do that. Or if I get into selling wood chunks, I'll be able to do that as well. So, you know, instead of making, you know, cutting firewood specifically for that stuff, I can just see how much I'm selling in a season or how much I want to sell, and just cut my 16-inch firewood to whatever length I want, and you know, kind of simplify things a little bit. So I think this will be a good tool for, you know, selling a lot of variety of firewood. Let's load it up. What are you working on, bud?
Well, like my dad said, I'm gonna be in the background too. He's gonna be loading it up, and I'm gonna be cutting it.
Ooh, nice.
But he brought his chainsaw just in case to get some crud off of it. But I'm gonna be doing like these little small ones over here, but not too small, because then it'll get into junk and all smaller.
You don't want to get into the junk, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to pack this in here as tight as I can. It's just gonna hold it better when I start cutting.
Yeah, that's why I brought his chainsaw. He can cut too. But I'm just getting it started. Fire this up now. Do I bring out of oil and gas?
It's easy to move these once they're in there. If you need to slide them back or forth a little bit.
Should never do this without grown-ups. Chainsaw is dangerous.
I think that's gonna be about it.
I never saw how we. This is a mess.
Is it? Right. Let me give you a good view down the side here. So you can see everything we're going to cut off. And there's about 1 inch to 3 inches on most of these pieces of firewood here. So get you set up good and we'll give it a try.
I'm going back.
that worked out really well. So I ended up having to cut from both sides, which I didn't think I would have to do that. But it was easier to line it up nice by keeping the bar angled up and just kind of watching and guiding that bar right down along this front piece of 2x4. And I was able to get a nice flush cut all the way down on both sides. So that actually worked out great. This is going to be really handy for a lot of things. And we made wood chunks out of it. So, you know, if you sell wood chunks, there you go. I got a bunch there. Plus I got all my nice 16-inch pieces of firewood. Perfect. All right, guys, that is going to wrap things up. Really happy with how this turned out. And I did not plan this out, so I just used whatever scrap wood I had laying around. But it turned out really nice. It's going to work perfectly for what I want to use it for. And it's not going to take up a whole lot of space in my log yard. So just having this thing sit around somewhere, you know, not taking up a whole lot of room is ideal, especially for how tight my log yard is. So going to be a cheap, useful tool. All right, guys, thanks for joining me. Hit me up with any questions or comments, and I will see you on the next one.